The Bible talks about in Mark chapter 12, verse 41 through 44. This is when Jesus went to church. Why do you go to church? Oh, because Jesus went, so I should probably go too. So Jesus was in church one morning, and he's sitting there, and it says, many who were rich came and put much in the offering. He was watching them put in their offerings. Then one poor widow came and threw in 2 mites, which make a quadrans, 50 cents. Not much money. So Jesus called his disciples and said, I'm telling you that this poor woman has put in more than all those who have given to the treasury. They all put in out of their abundance, but she out of her poverty put in all that she had, her whole livelihood. One rule in investing is never invest more than you're willing to lose. It's a rule. Don't put all of your eggs in one basket, as we like to say, some of us more than others. Why? Because that investment might not work out. It could all go to zero and you lose everything. Use your money that you're going to pay rent with to pay rent or your mortgage or groceries. Don't take that money and gamble with it. Don't take that and make an investment with, because things happen that we can't control. And if you've invested an amount of money that's going to put your lifestyle at risk, not a wise decision. So these rich folks are coming in and tossing in bags of money. And the disciples are impressed. Everybody's impressed. Wow, that's a whole lot of money they're putting in. But I wonder if you would look at their business deals, if that would change your perspective on the proportion that they're given. Wow, $600, that's a lot. But they just spent $75,000 on an electric vehicle. Nothing wrong with those, but just, is that $600 really meaningful? What if they could show you what they spent on their businesses, their houses, their cars, their jewelry? What if it was that these rich people were just hedging their bets? They took $50,000 to put it in this venture and $20,000 in this one and $10,000 here, and then they go to church and it's like, well, hopefully that works out. Hopefully that works out. But if it doesn't work out, I might as well give to God and see if he might bless me too. Here's $5,000. But in reality, if God doesn't do anything for me, I'm not going to be any worse for it because I've got this going on. It wasn't meaningful to them. If I lose that, my lifestyle isn't at risk. Then this widow shows up and all she has is 50 cents. Drops it in there. And that was risky to her. Risky to her lifestyle. She didn't have much. She could barely scrounge that up. She gave it all. It was meaningful. It was real. And Jesus respected her more than them. It wasn't about God's kingdom and finances. It wasn't like, oh, we need to take this offering because they need a van in Equatorial Guinea or they got to buy new sound equipment. And she runs up, I got you covered. Here's 50 cents. You could buy a pack of bubble gum and send it over there. I don't know. It wasn't even about financing missionaries. The money was going to the wrong people. When you think about it, she should have been like, all your hypocrites and your lying dogs, I'm going to take my 50 cents and I'm going to give it to Evangelist Steve because he's preaching the gospel. Y'all ain't. That's what she should have done. She should have walked over to Jesus and said, I like what you're doing. But she gave it to the synagogue there. Jesus is preaching against them half the time. But it was about her faith and her heart. Your money simply demonstrates your life, your values, your interests, your loves. Will it perish with you, or will it make a way for you into the kingdom of God? I'm not saying be irresponsible. God is not obligated by our sacrificial mismanagement. I know I need to, but I'm just going to give it all to God. I wouldn't recommend that unless you know God spoke to you. Don't blame me. You hear from God. But the question is, where is your heart? Where is your faith? Is this money of no difference to you? It's not going to hurt me. I can still do what I want. I can still buy this. I can still go there. Are you simply hedging your bets and appeasing a conscience, or do you trust God? Let's have the ushers come forward this morning. Are you responding to God and investing your limited time and energy in a meaningful way in God? That's what we do when we give. It's meaningful. God doesn't need our money. That church didn't need her 50 cents. Jesus didn't need it. God doesn't need it. But we need God. Money is spiritual. It's you in spendable form. Can you put your money where your mouth is? Will you put your money where your heart is? The answer is yes. And if that offering basket could speak, we would know. When it's meaningful to you, it's meaningful to God. Thank God. We don't got to try to equal them. Well, we gave 5, I'm going to give 6. Not the highest bidder. When it's meaningful to you, it's meaningful to God. That's when it has value. We touched on that this morning in the Sunday school. That's when you're rich. It's not how this world counts their money. It's how God counts your faith. And Jesus said, her 50 cents is worth much more because it's meaningful to her. So it's meaningful to me. I'll bless her. I'll take care of her.